and gentlemen, we are back. We had our stream drop out, but welcome to part 2 of our workspace updates. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm streaming okay. And hopefully we are back in business. I think we must have had an internet hiccup of some sort, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? And I've confirmed that we are live. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our next update. Well, I think I'll finish off the conversation regarding Slack and talking through different applications. So CloudFuse is an app that connects different data, allows you to import data between different applications. I personally can't vouch for moving your Slack data. However, if you are interested in moving off Slack onto Google Workspace, I'd recommend you have a chat to our team, as our team have managed migrations for customers. So if you're interested in that, click on the link down below, and our team will be very happy to help you out. Next update is to transfer data between devices using, let's try that again. Next update is to switch your Google Meet call between different devices. And I really like this one. It did roll out to me in the last couple of days, and I've been able to test it. What this lets you do is if you're, say, on a meeting with your phone and you're walking out of the car into the office, you sit down at your desk and you want to switch to your computer, it will give you a little button. It's a bit hard to see, but it says switch here, and it will automatically switch your call over to the device. And it happens pretty much instantly. I've already tested this one, and I've got to say I'm pretty happy with it. And so try that one out. I think it's just going to automatically be rolled out to everyone. Yeah, there we go. Up to 15 days for feature visibility. Scheduled release is full rollout, 1 to 3 days for everyone. If you don't know how to switch your account to rapid release, you do that inside your admin panel. Rapid release basically means that you get access to Google's features before everyone else, puts you at the front of the line. So to access that, you go to admin.google.com, open up your admin panel. Of course, it's going to ask you to sign in. And if you're in the admin panel and, like me, you're lazy, you can actually just search in the top here and search for probably rapid release. That should show up. Choose when users get new features. Weirdly, it's only showing the help article. Maybe search for new features. Nope. Okay, cool. We're going to have to go and find it manually. All right. So you go into account, and then into account settings. And you can see here under preferences, new user features. You can choose between scheduled release and rapid release. Now, if you're a large organization and maybe you've got hundreds or even thousands of staff, you may choose to be on scheduled release. It just gives you a bit more time to educate your users or make announcements if there's new features being rolled out and you want to educate people on how they work before they just go live and you start getting support requests from your teams on that. But if you're a small or medium-sized business owner and you want to get the best features the fastest, my recommendation would be to switch on to rapid release. Nothing's going to break. They're not like their beta features. Google have so many beta testers and teams. It's very unlikely that you're going to get buggy software with rapid release. There's next to no risk there, but you do get access to things the fastest, which is pretty darn cool. All right. Thank you, Google. That's a nice little feature there with Google Meet. Okay, next up, this is a small one, but very useful. Dark mode now available in Google Drive Web, and so it will let you switch to dark mode, and I believe it will respect the desktop's setting. So if you've got a computer that automatically switches to dark mode at night, but keeps your daytime mode or light mode during the day, then it should respect that system setting. Let's go and have a look in my Drive whether or not it does. So we go to Drive. We go into our settings, and then here we go. So under appearance, you can choose light mode or dark mode if you wish. My recommendation is device default. And what that's going to do is that's going to see what your device has set, and then automatically it's going to match whatever is on your device. Thanks, Google. Nice little feature. People have been asking for that for a long time. Okay, next one. Launch FigJam Whiteboard app directly from Google Meet Series 1 Board 65 and Desk 27 devices. What does that mean? Well, I want to talk about Jamboard here. Google had what I thought was an excellent app called Jamboard, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, likely they didn't get enough sales and didn't get enough people using it. They decided to, like many of Google's projects, abandon it. And people have been encouraged to switch over to using something like FigJam from Figma. And Google have, in the meantime, in the last couple of years, actually released some new hardware devices. Now, these appear to be called Meet devices, Board 65 and Desk 27. Personally, I haven't actually used these because I had one of the original Jamboard devices, which was like a big red BenQ device, which many businesses bought, and Google have told us they're now basically useless. But I wanted to open this because I was curious to see if maybe my old Jamboard might be able to run this software. But I don't think they're going to tell me because it looks like this is by a completely different company called Avocor. So I'd love to know in the comments. Do you have one of these in your business? It looks like they run Google Meet software, which, I mean, basically they're just running Chrome OS in a kiosk mode, and it just launches the Google Meet app. But on the Jamboards, at least, you could run the Jamboard software. So my curiosity is, are these a Jamboard in disguise? Can we write on these? And if these work with FigJam, could my Jamboard work with FigJam? I could probably just Google that. Jamboard, FigJam. I probably want Jamboard BenQ device. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. Google Jamboard is discontinued. That's what I thought. I think they're going to get killed off. Anyway, let's move along. So, if you're interested, if you've invested in one of these devices, personally, honestly, I don't quite see the point. Google have some great hardware kits that will let you bring your own TV, and you can plug your TV straight into your Google Meet hardware, run meetings on it. But then when you're not using it for a meeting, you can Chromecast any information to the TV. You can use it like a normal TV. And so if you imagine in a boardroom or a meeting room, you've got a device and you want to both run meetings on it, but also sometimes use it just like a TV. Maybe you're watching a presentation. Maybe you're, I don't know, having Friday night drinks and pizza with the team and you want to put a movie on. It makes more sense to me to just buy your own TV and then buy one of Google's hardware meeting kits and plug it in so you can have a choice with what you use it for. I don't personally really see a point to these boards and meeting room things unless you want to have the ability to roll it between different meeting rooms, which I guess makes sense if you're a corporate and you've only got a certain number of these devices and you've got multiple meeting rooms that may need to use them. But my personal opinion is, considering how many people are doing meetings online now, and meetings are pretty much exclusively hybrid these days because you're going to have at least one person who's working from home today or is on an offshore team or for some reason needs to be dialing in because they're on the go rather than with you in person. Who has meetings that aren't online anymore? I mean, who has offices that have everyone in the same place anymore? Does that even exist? I'm genuinely curious about that. I don't see a reason to buy something like this. My personal opinion would be to buy a Google Meet hardware kit. And if you're in Australia or New Zealand, we can supply those to you as well. All right, but worthwhile mentioning, I think. Thank you for the update, Google. Okay, some new features for Google Meet are next. If you're interested in annotating or marking up your presentation in a Google Meet, you can do that live, which I love. That's very cool. They're actually even showing the example of showing off a document here. Usually we would have a slide presentation, but it appears that you can do this with a document as well. I'm assuming these show up when you just right-click and you've got disappearing ink or pen, sticky notes, lines and shapes, colors. That's all looking very cool. So thank you, Google. I like that. I don't know if it's just the host who can annotate or if everyone can annotate. It does say it's switched on by default when you begin presenting. Okay, so to me, this seems like it's just for the presenter, but you can add someone as a co-annotator, which is pretty cool. So thanks, Google, for that. I like that feature. When is that becoming available? Gradual rollout from April 18. Okay, cool. So that should be pretty much hitting most accounts by now. It does say up to 15 days if you are on scheduled release. So that may take a little bit longer to get out to you. But what I love that Google are doing here, finally, after many years, is they're finally copying all the features of Zoom. Do you remember when COVID happened in 2020 and everyone just went to Zoom instead of using Meet? It had only just been relaunched after being Hangouts, which was absolute dog crap for so many years. Google rebuilt it into Meet, and Meet was really great, but it was still suffering from the bad reputation of Hangouts. And so hardly anyone was using Meet at the time. Everyone switched to Zoom, and Google could have caught up. They could have caught up. They could have built these features then in 2020, but they didn't. They were too slow, and they got caught with their pants down. Zoom took over the world by storm thanks to the pandemic, and the rest is history. Zoom are a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, they're not doing that well these days because Google is slowly catching up, and Microsoft Teams got really good in the last 4 years. But, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm glad to see Google finally implementing all of these tools and features because it kind of makes Zoom a bit redundant, at least internally. If you're hosting public events and people are used to using Zoom and they're not like, googly in the way that they do business, you may choose to still use Zoom. But my preference is always do things the Google way because I like to keep expenses down for my team. We've got 60 people in the company now. So as much as possible, I don't want to introduce another app that A, is a potential security issue, B, may rack up additional costs, 3, is a additional burden on our IT team to have to onboard and offboard staff when someone is using that additional app. So as much as possible, I would recommend you try and do things the Google way. Google, again, big thumbs up. Thank you from old mate Pete here on adding new features to Meet. We love that when you do it. Keep adding more. Keep it up. Okie dokie. Next up, now generally available, chat interoperability between chat and other messaging platforms. This is a very interesting one. I saw this news the other day and I thought this was pretty cool. It is using a third-party app. I don't know if there is a cost associated with that or not. It looks so googly on its website. I've got a feeling it may be owned or Google invested. Here we go. Pricing. Let's see, Google and Microsoft Teams. 1 to 4,000 people. Internal use. Lead form. Okay, so enterprise pricing only. I guess this is pretty much an enterprise product. I don't know why you'd use this if you're a small business user. Unless you had, I don't know, maybe you've got a franchise and franchisees and you want to operate differently. Maybe head office is on Microsoft and you want to be on Google. We have seen that before with a few different companies. But what they're promising here is the ability to chat to not just direct messages, but also group chats between Microsoft, Teams, and Google, and also some other chat apps as well. It appears that you can also do it with Slack using this third-party integrator called Mio. And, I've got to say, for some certain use cases, this sounds pretty useful and sounds pretty cool. Don't have a use for it myself. I think most small business owners probably wouldn't bother. But if you've got that one supplier or that one contractor or that one division of the business that for some reason is using a different productivity suite, well, this might be a good option for you if you want to get them talking to each other. Okie dokie, what is our next update? Introducing AI meetings and messaging for Google Workspace add-on. Now, I saw this article and I thought, what is this? Is this just Gemini? Because we started with Bard and then we went to Duet and now it's called Gemini and now it's $20 a month to add to your Workspace account. And I've just released a video on the channel with all of my thoughts on Gemini and why I don't think it's ready for business yet. I don't think it's ready to pay $20 a month for business. If you want to use Gemini for free in the browser at gemini.google.com, go ahead, be my guest. You can get a lot of stuff done there for free. But would I pay $20 a month per person inside my company for an add-on to Google Workspace that, I'll remind you, is more than what you pay for Google Workspace itself? That's right. Google are selling you Gemini as an add-on to Workspace for $20 a month when a business plan is $17 a month. What's going on, Google? What's going on? So I'm not a fan of Gemini yet. I think it's got a lot of promise, but I'm not a fan of paying for it yet. I'm not recommending business owners pay for it yet because I just don't think it's got what should be there yet. And what this is referring to is Google's new features that were announced at Google Next. Now, the messaging and Meet features, some of these are already there in Gemini. So generating a background, yeah, cool, so what? Studio look, studio lighting in Google Meet, yeah, so what? Real-time translated captions. Now, this one I'm interested in. Translating captions to a different language in real time. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, is that worth 20 bucks a month? I don't think so, but I do like that. Taking notes for me in Google Meet. Now, this I love. But look, coming soon. Coming soon? Google. Coming soon? Really? Really? Most of these features have been there. And to be honest, what's stopping me going to Gemini on the web and just generating a background for my background here or my Google Meet background? Well, what's stopping me is Gemini for Web sucks. You'll see that in my other video. I tried to generate a background and it didn't work, so I had to go to GPT. But what's stopping me going to GPT and using DALL-E, the image generator, and just generating a background and then uploading it to my Meet? Why does Google want to charge me $20 a month to do this? 20 USD a month to generate an image that I can go and do somewhere else. What else are you going to do for me, Google? Oh, you're going to take notes for me. Coming soon. Coming soon. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really piling on Google here because I think this is a bit of a joke. The release of this product has been haste, and I don't buy it. And we haven't bought it for our team. I've bought it for testing for myself, and that's it. And we cancelled it for the CEO. We don't need it. So when it's there, when all these features are released, this is going to be amazing. I look forward to it. I look forward to the AI utopia of Gemini working great across Workspace and, you know, Google making that a useful tool for everyone. But it's not there yet. It's just not there yet. Google, and more upcoming features. Here we go. More promises from Google. Screen share, watermark, on-demand conversation summaries, yada, 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 yada. You know what our team are doing right now? They record and transcribe every meeting that we're in. And I'll show you what transcription looks like. Let's go into Google Meet just so you know how to turn this on. So we go ahead and we jump into a meeting. I'm just going to start a meeting with myself here. Hopefully this doesn't freak out too much. And I go to my my meeting options, which is the three little dots down here. And I click onto Manage Recording. Now, when I open up a recording, I want it to record and transcribe. Record and transcribe the meeting. I hit Start Recording. And you'll know you've done this correctly because you'll have the red recording icon there, and you'll have the blue transcription icon there as well. Now, once we're done with the meeting, all we need to do is we take that transcription, which is added into a Google Doc, we cut and paste it into Gemini or into GPT, and we say, hey, give me a summary of the meeting. So for now, like, I love Google's features, but as I said in my Gemini video that I released on the channel this week, many of them I can get done just by cutting and pasting. And it's not worth $20 a month to save me cut and pasting for 60 employees in our company. It's just not. But Google, keep the features coming, and maybe it'll be worth it in the future. Okay, next up, access and shared files within a space more easily. Yep, that's useful. Thanks, Google. We like that one. You know, every now and again, Google will put in small updates that are useful in their own small little ways. Thank you for this one, Google. I'll leave it there. I'm curious, like, are you using chat right now to share files? We usually just put a file in Google Drive and we share the link. So, you know, for the most part, we're not using chat for sharing files. But if you are, maybe useful feature. Let me know. Okay, next up, sending voice messages in chat. This one I love. It's not perfect yet, but it is a step in the right direction. I love it because finally Google are catching up with every other messaging app in the world. And this is something that keeps people on WhatsApp. It keeps people on Messenger. And the only thing they haven't nailed yet is we need to be able to speed up messages. Voice messages suck if you can't speed them up because you are stuck spending 3 minutes listening to a message that someone else has written without necessarily consenting to spending 3 minutes listening. And if someone uses something like voice to type using Siri or using Google Voice, then it's much better for you to be able to consume it if you're on the receiving side, right? Someone sends a message, you want to be able to briefly skim through that message and see if it's urgent or not. If someone uses voice to type, they type it in, it comes in text, you can read it in a second. Now, if someone uses a voice note, there's the added benefit that they can add the nuance, and if they're the kind of person who's like a stream of consciousness type person, senior leaders and executives tend to be those kind of people, right? Okay, voice notes might be a useful feature, but Google, please let us speed them up. Let us speed them up. Otherwise, you're stuck there for 3 minutes listening to somebody's message, and you can read much faster than you can listen to a message. All right, cool, but not bad. I'm guessing that Google are going to create transcriptions for these. So they'll be automatically transcribed. And if they're automatically transcribed, then guess what? You can just talk and the receiver will be able to just read. That would be much better. Okay, here's a feature that I mentioned a little bit earlier. You can subtly enhance your appearance and portrait touch-up when using Google Meet on the web. Now, this is a bit of a weird one because it's saying that this is available seemingly for everyone, yet they listed this as a feature of their AI meetings add-on, which I'm assuming is referring to their Gemini add-on. So I don't know what's going on here, Google. Is this free or is this part of Gemini? This sounds like it's free. And Zoom has had this for years. So this is not going to sell me on Gemini. All right, last one, creating fully customized email campaigns using the new layout editor tool. I wanted to mention this. I may have covered this last time, but I don't remember. But you can now add layouts to your emails if you're sending a mass email out of Gmail. I think it is a good feature to have a ability to share updates in a visually pleasing way and send a mail merge to a bulk number of people. And I like that Google have added it. However, this can easily be abused. And if you're sending to a really large list, like more than 1,000 people, I probably wouldn't recommend you use Google for this. The reason is that it doesn't have great analytics on who's opened, who's clicked, who's done what with your emails. It does have the ability to unsubscribe because, of course, you've got to be compliant with spam laws. But it doesn't give you anything like what you'd get if you signed up for MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or something else that is a dedicated email sending solution. And my strong recommendation would be that you consider that because you really want to make sure that you're actually getting people's emails landing in their inboxes. And you really want to make sure that, okay, the subject line that I wrote was an effective subject line. And you can't do that if you don't have good analytics. And when you start sending large volumes of email, you'll start running into the limits of Google Workspace. It's not designed to send large volumes of transactional or marketing style bulk emails. It's only really designed to maybe send an updated price list to your customers or to your suppliers. It's not really there for sending a marketing database style email campaign. So I'd recommend you only use it sparingly. All right, that's all. If you're interested to learn more about who we are and what we do, head along to itgenius.com. We are everything to do with small business, and we are experts in Google Workspace, and my website is taking its time to load there. It finally got there in the end. We support all of these apps and more. We are your small business tech concierge. Tech VAs are what we provide, but you get access for a very reasonable fee, access to a pool of really amazingly talented labor, everything in the tech world. So if you're interested in connecting a Zap so that a lead arriving on your website will automatically put a post inside of your Google chat, if you want to migrate data from a Microsoft system over to the Google system, if you want to clean up your Google Drive because it's a mess right now, if you want to get more out of the Google Workspace platform, if you've had it for a few years but you just don't feel like you're getting the most out of all the things that you could be doing in the Google world and you want someone to do an audit. Speaking of audits, if you want to do a security audit, if you want to check and make sure that you and your team are safe and you're using the correct security practices and principles, we can handle all those things for you. Click on the link down below this video or head along to itgenius.com and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for joining. Please leave me a comment, say hello, drop me a message down below.